So you might have been using Pinterest for a while now to grow your business. And that is good because you already know how it works. But if you are new to Pinterest and if you decided to use it but have no idea how to get more viewers and leads for your business, then this episode is for you. And if you don't know how Pinterest works, what kind of business is suitable for Pinterest, what kind of users are on Pinterest, and many other things, then I suggest you to go to the previous episode. I believe it's episode 35. And it was a good episode for an introduction to Pinterest. So without wasting any more time, let's begin.
So the real question is this: how would an entrepreneur like us, who literally start from nothing or has limited resources and yet still wants to build an empire, join Usherup as he answers this big question so you can apply it too? Welcome to Focus on Winning.
So, all right, now that our listeners know how does it work, why is it good, and maybe they are in a business that you mentioned,
Mhm.
it could be a fashion, right? Because it's all about
Absolutely. Absolutely
drawing.
fashion. Yes, there's a lot of things for sale. If you were a mom and you had
Ooh.
baby stuff, if you're like the big demographic is millennials. So I think they're the biggest user of it, really. And so if that target age range is your demographic, then by all means you should be on Pinterest.
Mm-hmm. Is there a specific age for Pinterest?
No, not really. Like I'm not a millennial, but like most of my content is, they're very good at demographics. Obviously, my audience is primarily women, but I think the largest segment is up till 24. It's like 18 to 24, and then 25 to 35, and then it does give you good demographics, up to 60 plus. I just think that's a technology thing, because I think of my mother. My mother uses Pinterest, but not for business, and she can barely pin a pin. So I just think that comes with how technology has grown, and as you're younger, you start out with technology
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
faster. So
Right. How about you walk us through on how to set up a Pinterest account to look more professional so they get more leads, more visibility, or more viewers?
well, the first thing that new businesses struggle with is that Pinterest needs content. Not necessarily, you don't have to be a big blogger, have like 100 different blog posts, but you need some content. So I suggest blog posts. You do need a strategy. So if you are a YouTuber, do you want to drive people to YouTube? So that's content, that type of thing. So that's the first thing, is Pinterest needs content of some sort. And then the very first thing that you need to do is find whatever you do. You need to find the search keywords, and Pinterest makes it very easy for you, because on the top, where they have a search bar very similar to Google, you type in what you're searching for. And on the search bar, once you type in, let's say you type in vegetarian, there's going to be like a drop down box, and then it'll say vegetarian recipes, vegetarian easy. It's giving you those keywords that people use to find vegetarian, let's say, recipes or whatever. And so it's not, I think Google SEO, there's like all these different ways you can find Google SEO, like what keywords and all that. Pinterest is much easier. So you're going to type in the keyword. I would say find 3 to 5 good keywords that you're going to use that describe your business. And then those keywords, you have to write them down and consistently use them. In the profile, at the top, you're going to put your name. You're going to, what do you do? Who do you serve? You're going to have a call to action. And then you're going to create boards. And boards, again, have board names. Those are searched upon. So you want keywords in your board names. There's a description. You're going to want keywords in your board descriptions. And then you want to create boards that are going to be topics that are of interest related to your business. And so, for example, I obviously have Pinterest boards. I have Pinterest for beginners, how to automate with Pinterest. So I have Pinterest boards, but then because I'm focusing on women, I have boards that are specific to them. So it's sort of, I think of it or give you the example of a big bulletin board. So why would someone come to your bulletin board? Okay, they're going to search for Pinterest, but while I'm here, I might want to search social media, or I might want to search productivity and goal setting. So topics that are around what you do in your business that can attract traffic to your Pinterest account. And then the last thing, like you had mentioned, it's pictures. And so you have to have beautiful pictures, clear, they need a text overlay that tells you what the blog post or whatever the content is that you're going to. It needs to tell you exactly what people are going to find. It's like the mini trailer of what they're going to find when they click on it. So, if they're clicking on a vegetarian recipe and they click and they end up like productivity tips, there's a disconnect, and they're going to be like, well, who is this person? They're not doing it right. And then it's going to be considered spam. So just make sure that you're, creating a really nice pin. Pinterest can read the words on your pin. So again, that's another place that you would want to use those keywords. And that's like really, without having like a visual aid for to walk you through. That's sort of, those are the main key points that you need. And I can't stress enough, you need good images that are clear. If it's a product, lifestyle, like using that product in action. There's a lot of flat lays. There's so many places you can get images for free or low cost. There's really no reason why you shouldn't have good images and then use keywords.
So one thing I want to highlight is that put pictures. You say put pictures, right? So is it about putting our pictures, our own pictures, or is it about putting our product images?
Well, it used to be that there's some guidelines as far as images, and it used to be that Pinterest didn't really like faces. They like flat lays. They like product images or a product in use. But I think in the last couple of years, now that there's so much importance on personal branding, and people do business with people. And, now we're supposed to be doing video and putting ourselves out there so people can know us as business owners rather than just a face behind a computer, that I definitely say try it. If you have branded images of yourself, make sure your website is on there, and definitely try it. The thing about Pinterest is it's probably the easiest platform there is because there's not a ton of rules. So if you have one blog post, you could make 5 different pins all driving to the same blog post. And so you could do a flat lay image. I'm a service provider, so I don't have pictures of products per se. You could do product mock-ups. So like if I had a freebie, I would do a mock-up of my freebie. I could have a flat lay, like a desktop flat lay, or I could put a picture of myself if I'm like sitting at a desk or whatever. And we use Google Analytics to go in, and you can see which pins perform better. Pinterest has its own analytics. And so it's basically like A/B testing, but it's like ABCDE testing because you can use multiple pins. So I would definitely say try it because, the personal branding and the face of your brand is becoming more important than ever.
Yep, that's true.
So, but use I learned this lesson early, when you make the pins, make the text as large as possible and as clear as possible. Because when I first started, I used this really like pretty swirly font. Well, Pinterest tells us 85% of people are looking at Pinterest on their phones. And so if your text is really small or really, a serify font, so it's hard to read, people are not going to stop. You want it to be like big text, people can see it. What are they going to learn? And then two, Pinterest reads the text. And then because Pinterest has this algorithm that uses the keywords and the text to make sure that they're putting your pin in front of the people that want to click on it. So if Pinterest can't read that, then that's doing you a disservice as well. So make sure that your text is as big and bold as possible without, taking up the whole pin. But so it's easy to read, basically.
So let me recap it for a quick review here. Firstly, make content. Constantly make content because Pinterest loves an account with a lot of content. Secondly, have a clear SEO. Do some research about what would people search when it comes to your product or service. And there are many ways that you can determine whether that keywords are the most searched or not. And one of the ways that I can suggest is using a Google extension, or maybe use some website that finds some famous keywords and just use that. And the next one is have a board that targets your specific audience or your niche. And lastly, have a clear pictures. Right. Put some clear pictures.
With text overlay, yes. With clear text, so that you can be found. Absolutely. You got it. Are you going to start on Pinterest? It can drive traffic to your podcast.
Well, maybe I would consider that. And when it comes to Pinterest growth, how do we know our Pinterest account is growing? I mean, like, YouTube is based on subscribers and Instagram is based on followers, same as Twitter. But how about Pinterest?
Right. Pinterest does have similar, they do have followers because there's a follower feed. So you can get followers. Basically what you want, there's a lot of different things that you can look at. There's how often are your pins getting saved? How you're going to learn what your click-through rate is, because you want people not just to save your pin, you want them to click through and go to YouTube or your blog post. And so this is all found in demographics. Pinterest, you're going to want a business account. You don't want to use a personal account on Pinterest. You can oftentimes change your personal over to business because you're going to get the analytics that are going to tell you. And so there's, depending what your strategy is, if you are running a pin specifically to an opt-in page to grow your email list, you're going to see that pin has a lot of click-through rates, and then you're going to see your email subscribers go up. So that, depending on whatever your strategy is, YouTube and Pinterest, like Pinterest, when you sign up for a business account, it does have where you can claim your Instagram and YouTube channels. And then it will specifically give you demographics of your pins to YouTube. And then also through Google Analytics and like YouTube Analytics, for example, you can tell how fast the platform is growing that way. So there's a lot of different ways that you can find out that your account is growing. You look into Google Analytics to see if your pins are performing well. If they're not performing well, maybe you need to change the headline. You need to change a font. You need to change a picture, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. So it's all about SEO, click rate, and save pin.
And saves, right? Well, because the thing is about Pinterest, people or users are planners. So what they will do, if you put a pin up, you may not see immediate demographic or analytics going up, because if you are planning something. People do plan vacations, or let's say you're planning, if it's fashion, like I want an outfit because I'm going to be going on a cruise in January, right? So I'm going to go there, I'm going to look, and then I'm going to save things. I'm going to save them to my bulletin board, basically my board. But I'm going to go back as time gets closer. Then I'm going to click through and purchase. So it may not be immediate, but so that's why you need to look at saves. Also repins, because, the good thing about Pinterest is your one pin gets saved by someone to their board. And then, someone else will look at your pin on their board and they're going to save it. So it's all of this, saving of your content by other people. And so it gets, that's how your pin grows in popularity, gets in front of more people and grows your sales. Or, I've had people contact me that I don't know to speak at summits. So it builds your credibility. It can increase your sales. It can increase your email signups. And then you just have to nurture them through an email sequence, that type of thing.
Hey, winners! I'm going to call you winners after this because we are focusing on winning. So you are the winner. And instead of calling you listeners, I think I'm going to call you winners, right? So anyway, thank you for listening and thank you for joining us today. Now you get an idea of how to use Pinterest the right way. And I guess you are planning to use it after this. Am I right? Or am I wrong? I don't know. Let me know what you think about Pinterest. And if you want to discover more about business ideas and strategies, subscribe to the show. Hit that subscribe button and I promise you that you can implement everything right after listening to each episode. And hopefully you can share this on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever your favorite social media platform is, because it might benefit your friends who want to grow their business with Pinterest. So until then, talk to you soon.
Hey, thank you for listening. We hope you can implement everything from this episode. And would you like to know more about business strategies and life hacks that you can apply right now? If so, subscribe to this podcast so you can become the best you.